In the early morning light, the Fulani village awoke with the first rays of the sun. The golden sands of the Sahara stretched endlessly, whispering stories of love and loss to those who would listen. Here, among the acacia trees and thatched huts, tradition held the people close, like the heat of the desert sun. Aminata, the village chief's daughter, stood at the edge of her family's compound, looking out over the desert. The setting sun cast a warm glow on the sand, making the horizon seem endless. The desert wind blew softly, lifting her hair and carrying the scent of dry earth. Aminata's heart ached with a longing for something more, a life where love and freedom flowed as freely as the wind. But here, under the watchful eyes of tradition, her dreams were like grains of sand slipping through her fingers. Aminata sighed deeply, her gaze fixed on the horizon, dreaming of a future where she could follow her heart's desires without fear or restraint. Hidden among the tall grasses near the oasis, Moussa waited for Aminata. His heart beat faster with each passing moment, knowing that every meeting was a stolen moment from fate. When Aminata arrived, their eyes met, and the world fell away, leaving only the two of them and the whispering wind. They stood in silence for a moment, hands entwined, feeling the energy of the oasis surround them. The oasis was their sanctuary, a place where the world's harsh realities could not reach them. Here, they were free to dream, free to love. "I wish we could stay here forever," Moussa said, his eyes searching hers for an answer to the unspoken question. Aminata squeezed his hand, her face turning serious. "I know," Aminata said, her voice filled with fear. As the sun set behind the dunes, Moussa took Aminata's hands in his. "I will find a way for us to be together," he promised, his voice steady like the heartbeat of the desert. Aminata nodded, her heart full of hope and fear. "We must be careful," she whispered. "If we are discovered, there will be consequences." Moussa squeezed her hands gently, feeling the roughness of his calloused fingers against her smooth skin. "I know, Aminata, but what choice do we have? The world has never made it easy for us." Aminata looked into his eyes, finding solace in the determination she saw there. "I just can't bear the thought of losing you," she murmured. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears, reflecting the last rays of sunlight. As the night fell, the stars began to emerge, one by one, like promises written in the sky. They stood there, holding each other, their future uncertain, but their hearts united in a shared promise of love and defiance. Back in the village, Chief Boubacar sat with Malik, the wealthy merchant who had come to claim Aminata as his bride. "Your wealth will bring much-needed prosperity to our village," the chief said, his voice heavy with the weight of his decision. Malik smiled, his eyes cold and calculating. "And your daughter will make a fine wife." The chief nodded, though his heart felt heavy with doubt and guilt. "I assure you, Chief," Malik said, his voice smooth like polished marble, "Aminata will be well cared for." He lifted a goblet of wine to his lips, the ruby liquid reflecting the dying light, and took a sip, savoring the taste as if savoring his victory. Nafisa, Aminata's closest friend and confidant, played a haunting melody on her kora. The music drifted through the village, a warning carried on the wind. She knew the chief's plans and feared for her friend. Nafisa reached out, her hand trembling slightly as she grasped Aminata's arm. Her voice was barely a whisper, carried away almost as soon as it left her lips. "You must be careful, Aminata," she whispered, her gaze intense, searching. "Malik is not a man to be trusted." Aminata nodded slowly, her eyes downcast, the weight of her friend's words settling over her like a shroud. She could feel the truth in Nafisa's warning. Determined to escape the life that was being forced upon her, Aminata met Moussa under the cover of darkness. Aminata's heart raced as she spoke, her breath coming in sharp, visible puffs. "We must leave," she said urgently, her voice trembling with a mixture of fear and resolve. "If my father finds out about us, there will be no mercy." Moussa nodded, his resolve strengthening. "We will leave tonight, under the moon's light," his voice steady and reassuring. Unbeknownst to them, Malik had been following their every move. His heart burned with anger and jealousy. He watched as they plotted their escape and knew he had the upper hand. That night, he went to Chief Boubacar, weaving a tale of deceit and dishonor. "Your daughter has betrayed you," he spat, his voice dripping with wicked pleasure. "She plots to run away with the man she loves, defying your wishes and disgracing your name." Malik enjoyed the look of shock and betrayal that crossed Chief Boubacar's face. The next day, Chief Boubacar summoned Aminata and Moussa to the village square. His face was stern, his eyes filled with pain and anger. "Is it true?" he demanded, his voice echoing across the sands. Aminata's knees buckled and she collapsed to the ground, her hands holding at the dusty earth as if seeking relief, tears streaming down her face. "I love him, father," she cried. "But I did not mean to dishonor you." Moussa stood by her side, his face pale and resolute, but his eyes mirrored the pain of the woman he loved. Heartbroken and torn between love and duty, Chief Boubacar made his decision. "You have disgraced our family," he said, his voice trembling with barely contained emotion. "How could you choose this path? How could you disregard the honor and traditions that have bound our people together for generations?" Turning to Moussa, Chief Boubacar's gaze hardened. "You've not only betrayed our trust, but also jeopardized the future of our village. You will leave this village and never return." With those words, Aminata and Moussa were exiled, their love now a curse as they wandered into the unforgiving desert. Days turned into weeks as Aminata and Moussa journeyed through the Sahara. The sun beat down mercilessly, and the nights were cold and unforgiving. But through it all, their love remained a guiding star, a light that could not be extinguished even in the darkest of times. They found solace in each other's presence. The hardships they faced only deepened their connection, transforming their love into a steadfast compass, guiding them through the darkest of times. Just when hope seemed lost, they came upon a small oasis, a hidden paradise amidst the endless sands. The sight was breathtaking. Lush palm trees swayed gently in the breeze. Crystal clear water bubbled from a natural spring, its surface shimmering like liquid diamonds under the sun. They cupped their hands and drank deeply from the spring, the cool water invigorating their parched throats and washing away days of dust and despair. Here they found refuge, and for the first time in days they smiled. Moussa looked around, his eyes filled with a renewed spark of hope. "We will make a new life here," Moussa said, his voice filled with hope. "A life where our love can thrive, free from the chains of tradition." They felt a sense of peace, knowing they had found a place where their love could flourish amidst the vast desert. At the oasis, Aminata and Moussa began to build a new life. They fashioned a shelter from palm fronds and mud and found joy in the simple things. Each day was a gift, each night a promise that love could flourish even in the harshest of places. Their laughter echoed through the oasis, a melody of freedom and hope. They cultivated a small garden of herbs and vegetables near the spring, the plants growing lush and green against the backdrop of the desert. Every evening, they took long walks around the oasis, hand in hand, their hearts filled with a sense of peace and accomplishment. The tranquil surroundings and the gentle murmur of the spring made their new home feel like a paradise, a testament to their resilience and unwavering love. Their laughter, like the tinkling of chimes, became a cherished melody that resonated through the oasis, a constant reminder that love could indeed flourish even in the harshest of places. One day, as Aminata and Moussa were at the edge of the oasis, gathering cool, refreshing water from the spring, they heard a voice that made their hearts skip a beat. They turned in surprise to see Nafisa emerging from the shimmering heat of the desert, her face illuminated by a radiant smile, highlighting the determined yet relieved expression on her face. She had traveled across the desert to find them. "I couldn't let you go without knowing you were safe," she said, tears of joy in her eyes. Together they embraced, their friendship as strong as ever. The joyful reunion was a testament to their unbreakable bond, a reminder of the strength of friendship amidst their trials. Together they sat by the spring, sharing stories and catching up on lost time. The oasis, once a symbol of their solitude, now felt even more like a haven with Nafisa's presence. The laughter they shared resonated through the oasis, blending with the soft murmur of the water and the rustling of palm leaves, creating a melody of friendship and hope that filled the tranquil space.
With Nafisa by their side, Aminata and Moussa felt a renewed sense of hope. Together, they built a community, welcoming other travelers who sought refuge. Their love story became a legend, a tale of courage and defiance that echoed across the sands. And so, in the heart of the Sahara, a new beginning was born. And so, in a place where the sands whisper secrets and the winds carry tales of old, a new story was born. A story of love against all odds, of courage in the face of tradition, and of a bond so strong that even the desert could not break it. Aminata and Moussa's love story became a beacon of hope, reminding all who heard it that love is the greatest force of all. Please subscribe for more.